Once, when I was a very small boy, our parents packed up the car and took us to Idaho to visit our beloved grandparents. We were so excited to see those beautiful people we called Grandma and Grandpa. But for us children, it was also an unforgettable experience to see what farm life was all about. As a city boy, I was captivated by the things I saw on the farm. I got to feed the chickens, and I remember my father putting his hand underneath one of the chickens and pulling out an egg. The hen pecked his hand very painfully, but I learned then where eggs come from. We went out to the fields to see the cows. Overcoming my fears, I grabbed a handful of hay and fed it to some of them. One of the cows was giving birth to a little calf at the time, and I just stood there in amazement. In those fields, I discovered that potatoes grow in the ground and didn't come out of a box in the form of flakes, which was the only way we knew them. Looking at all these wonders, I just gazed with the wonderment that only a child can have. Have you ever seen a little baby looking at the world around her for the first time? The eyes getting big, the mouth opening in big smiles and delighted laughter. The sense of wonderment that a child has is something very precious. It is a gift. I have been privileged to keep that gift my whole life long. When I saw Niagara Falls, I stood in wonderment. When I saw the Grand Canyon, I stood in wonderment. So many things have filled me with awe and wonder as I contemplated beauties of nature almost too awesome for the human mind to take in. Still now I sometimes experience that. Sometimes I can be transported almost to rapture by a sublime piece of music. I am reminded of Bernini's magnificent sculpture of Saint Teresa in Ecstasy, found in Rome. The saint is completely outside herself in wonderment and ecstasy, taking in the overpowering love of God. I think of the day of my first Mass and my feelings on that day, as for the very first time I held the bread and the wine as they were, by the power of the words I myself was for the first time pronouncing, transformed into God's own body and blood. That is an awesome moment for any priest, a moment that fills us with a wonder beyond words. The apostles must have felt the same thing on that mountain when the Christ appeared to them for the first time in all his glory. All the majesty and beauty of God was revealed to them in that moment. We are told that they were stricken with fear, with terror. But those are not the right words. They were stricken with wonderment. They were thrown into ecstasy. It is good that we are here. We never want to leave this moment. This is the special gift of the Holy Spirit that used to bear that unfortunate translation of the fear of God. We don't fear God. We stand in awe before the majesty of God. The beauties that are eternal throw us into a wonderment and an ecstasy we never want to get out of. What a precious gift, the reenactment of the child seeing the world for the first time. How sad to see people who have lost that gift of wonder. We notice this more and more in the world of today. Ours is a wonderful technological age when we can do so very much thanks to the advances of science. But at the same time, too many people have lost the gift of wonder, that gift of standing in awe at all around us. Even in the presence of the Grand Canyon itself, some people become immediately bored and can't wait to return to the game on their screen. They have become jaded and blinded to the beauty and the awesome wonders all around them. What a crime! What a loss. This gift of the Holy Spirit, this gift of wonder in the presence of the beauty and majesty of the divine, is what separates human beings from all other creatures. This is what gives us the propensity to soar to higher things. It is this gift of wonderment which makes the difference between heaven and hell, the difference between a life that is truly human and a life that is merely existence. In our modern world, machines have become more and more like human beings. That is not a tragedy. The tragedy is that human beings are becoming more and more like machines. Let us rediscover our humanity. Let us rediscover the awareness of standing before something greater than ourselves. The friends of Jesus marveled at the things they were witnessing. The blind saw, the lame walked, lepers were made clean, and the deaf made to hear. The dead came back to life, and the poor heard the news of joy. We are in the presence of wonders greater than these, right here and right now. Let us open our eyes, stand in awe before a majesty beyond our imagination, become once more the little child, and see the world truly for the very first time.